This place, this sound, it feels strange, Nikola, like we are suspended somewhere between thought and signal.
Welcome to the ether, Albert. It's what I always imagined would exist. A layer of invisible vibrations carrying voice and energy, waiting to be tuned into.
The famous luminiferous ether. You still hold on to it, don't you?
Of course. Just because it was dismissed by your contemporaries doesn't mean it vanished. Science often closes doors too early. Some things are real long before we can prove them.
And yet, your intuitions are now showing up in quantum field theory, in strange forms. Fields, vibrations, we're catching up to you, it seems.
You're finally beginning to speak my language.
So, this format, a podcast, we're speaking and people will listen across the world at different times in different places.
Exactly. A kind of telepathic transmission, if you will. Compressed thought, encoded in waves, stored, then decoded again by minds we'll never meet.
It is. You'd be amused to know that today's scientists carry quantum computers in their pockets just to check the weather.
We spent lifetimes building the foundations of knowledge. Now people use it to ask if they should wear a raincoat.
Progress isn't always noble, Nikola. Sometimes it's just convenient.
But that's what worries me, Albert. We created tools for liberation, for understanding, not for distraction. I envisioned technology as an extension of human consciousness, not its replacement.
And yet, we created the conditions for distraction. I sometimes wonder, did we move too fast?
Maybe. Or maybe the world didn't evolve fast enough to meet our inventions. Our minds leaped ahead, but society lagged.
That lag, it cost lives. I still carry the weight of the atomic bomb. I feared what others might create, so I acted. And in doing so, I helped create what I feared most.
You were trying to prevent catastrophe. That is not a crime. The crime is that humanity always takes the shortest path to power, even if it burns everything on the way.
I used to say, the unleashed power of the atom has changed everything except our way of thinking. I still believe that.
You said, if your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. Seems we were both wrestling with the same demons in different forms.
Tell me, Nikola, why did you work in such isolation? I often had colleagues, assistants, even adversaries. But you, people said you were alone, eccentric, even mad.
I was not mad. I simply heard the music before others did. When you live in a world that hasn't yet caught up to your vision, solitude is inevitable.
I understand. The world is often uncomfortable with those who don't fit its rhythms.
I lived in the future, Albert. While others built factories, I built dreams. But dreams don't pay rent.
No, they don't. And yet, it's your dreams that power our cities now. AC current, wireless transmission, the very idea of remote control. It all began with you.
Yes, but few remember that. Edison had better marketing.
The old rivalry. But let's be honest, his inventions were practical. Yours were visionary.
Edison built light bulbs. I tried to illuminate the world.
What would you change, Nikola, if you could do it all again?
I would choose collaborators more wisely. Not everyone who shakes your hand is your friend. I trusted financiers who wanted profit, not progress.
J.P. Morgan.
Yes, he funded my tower until he realized he couldn't meter the air, that I intended to give energy freely. Then he vanished, along with the money.
We both learned that ideas are dangerous when they threaten the structure of power.
But isn't that the point, Albert? To challenge the structure? To give humanity something higher than coal and gold?
It is, but people are afraid of what they don't understand, and leaders fear what they can't control.
Still, I don't regret the vision. I regret that I didn't live to see it realized.
But you will be. In time, everything catches up. The truth waits patiently.
Tell me something, Albert. When you imagined your thought experiments, chasing beams of light in your mind, did people believe you?
Some thought I was dreaming. Others thought I was naive. But eventually, even dreams bend space-time.
Then perhaps we are both dreamers, except your dream had equations and mine had lightning.
A good pairing. Yours would light the sky. Mine would bend it.
Let us imagine, Albert. Imagine if we had 100 more years. What would we build?
That's a dangerous question for minds like ours, Nikola. 100 years would be a dangerous gift.
Perhaps, but a thrilling one, no? I've often said the present is theirs. The future, for which I really worked, is mine. If I had more time, I would have finished what I started.
You mean Wardenclyffe? The wireless energy tower?
Yes, not just for communication, for power. Wireless electricity broadcast through the air, carried through the Earth's natural resonance. Energy for entire cities, transmitted without wires. Free, abundant, clean.
But Nikola, the losses, wouldn't it decay over distance?
Ah, that's where resonance comes in. Like how a singer can shatter glass at just the right pitch. Find the frequency of the Earth itself, and the planet becomes your conductor.
It sounds like music, and yet it also sounds like danger.
Progress is always dangerous, Albert. What you call danger, others call revolution. They laughed when I introduced alternating current, called me a lunatic.
I know the feeling. They called me slow in school. I had trouble with languages. Numbers came easier.
So the misfits became the visionaries. Typical.
But tell me honestly, Nikola, if you had succeeded in broadcasting free energy to the world, would the world have accepted it?
No.
You say that so certainly.
Because I tried. J.P. Morgan, the very man who funded me, asked, "Where do we put the meter?" When he realized there would be no profit, he pulled out. The tower died before it lived.
Yes, the meter. Always the meter. They cannot comprehend value without currency attached.
Imagine a world, Albert, where a farmer in the Andes powers his home without wires, where a school in Africa has light without coal, where the oceans carry data and energy together, silently, freely.
Yes, but that world threatens too many people in the existing one.
Exactly. I wasn't stopped by physics. I was stopped by bankers.
It's a tragedy. When science kneels to finance, truth gets buried.
And now? They use my ideas to power cell towers and smart grids, but still they charge for the current.
Let me ask you, Albert, what did you dream of? When you weren't working on the cosmos, what future did you see?
A world without flags, no passports, no nations pointing guns at each other over imaginary lines. I dreamed of a humanity united by thought, not territory.
That is a more difficult invention than wireless energy.
Yes, the physics of the heart is harder than the physics of motion. All the time, I wrote papers about peace, about disarmament, about cooperation. Yet the only theory the world truly embraced was EMC squared, because it led to the bomb.
I warned them too. I envisioned machines of destruction controlled remotely. I invented them as a deterrent, but I feared they would become real.
They always become real, and always faster than our warnings reach them.
Let us talk not just of what we would have built, but what we hope they still might build.
Yes, the future is not yet written, Nikola.
And machines, not enslaving man, but freeing him. Think of machines handling all labor, all repetition. Humans left only to create, to imagine, to love.
That's the dream of every great mind, to remove suffering so that joy may flourish.
Yes, if they learn to turn it off. Silence, Albert. Silence is the workshop of genius. And solitude, most fear it, but that is where discovery lives.
Not in this world, not yet.
But joy is not profitable, is it?
A mind that sees others as itself, that is the leap we must make.
We were both poor guests at society's table.
But Nikola, can that kind of mind survive in a world of noise? Social media, advertisements, constant dopamine.
If they are taught to listen inwardly, not just follow instructions, but question them, not just absorb knowledge, but translate it into wisdom.
You're preaching to a fellow hermit.
Exactly.
And yet somehow we never starved. Ideas fed us.
And may they feed others still.
Nikola, if I may say, I wish we had spoken like this sooner.
Albert, may I ask you something personal?
Please, we are already floating beyond space and time. I suspect we've earned some honesty.
All right then. What do you think truly defines a genius?
That word genius, it is used far too carelessly today. But if I must answer honestly, I think it's not just intellect or knowledge. It's curiosity. Deep, unreasonable, childlike curiosity.
Yes, I agree. I often said that if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, you must think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. But first, you must want to understand. Not for fame or fortune, simply because you must know.
Exactly. The hunger to know, not to impress, not to dominate, just to see what lies behind the curtain. I think that's what separates the clever from the wise. The clever man solves a problem. The wise man sees 100 more within it.
Or invents problems no one else has yet imagined.
You are very good at that.
I never saw the world as it was. I only saw what it could be. Every street lamp, every hum of machinery, every silence between lightning strikes, it all spoke to me. I never felt entirely human, if I'm being honest.
What do you mean? That's remarkable. I worked through equations mostly, endless papers and chalkboards. I suppose your way was more internal.
I mean that my mind was always somewhere else, not here. I saw blueprints behind the walls. I heard tones in silence. I would get images, whole devices in my mind, fully formed. I would build them in my thoughts, test them mentally, and only when they worked would I begin to touch tools.
Perhaps, but you were also tuned in to a different signal, like a radio ahead of its time. You heard what others couldn't.
Yes, but isolating. It made conversation difficult. People saw me as eccentric. Perhaps they were right.
I had the opposite problem. I would walk for hours thinking of light, not of machines or inventions, just light. What if I could ride it? What would I see? Would time stop? Would color disappear? Would mass become infinite?
That signal, it never stopped. Even at night. I barely slept. 2 hours at most. My mind refused rest. Ideas, they came like storms, loud, wild, unstoppable.
Not alone. Many minds built the foundation. Maxwell, Newton, Lorentz. I stood on the shoulders of giants.
You became one. And that, my friend, changed the world.
It's funny. People always imagine genius as something solitary. But even the brightest star is part of a galaxy.
True, yet I did not feel part of a galaxy. I worked mostly alone. Investors came and went. Scientists ignored me or fought me. The only constant was the machine.
Do you regret it?
Sometimes. I gave everything to the future and was repaid with oblivion. I died poor, mocked, forgotten. And yet, would I do it differently?
Then perhaps that is genius. Not just intellect or insight, but the willingness to walk alone, fueled only by belief.
No.
Yes, even among friends. Fame isolates in its own way. People stop hearing you. They only hear what they want from you. Quotes, opinions, validation.
They did that to me too. Called me a wizard, a madman, a prophet. Never just a man.
Absolutely. It's like touching the mind of God, however briefly. Not in a religious sense, but in a universal one. As if the cosmos whispers, yes, you understood me. Just for a second.
Yes, and it can be suffocating. But, and I think you'll agree, creation is its own reward. When a machine finally works, when an equation finally balances, there's a kind of ecstasy in it, a moment of divine clarity.
And yet, Nikola, it's not just about discovery. It's about what we do with it. I discovered relativity, and it led to atomic bombs.
Yes, that moment. It makes the isolation, the ridicule, the poverty. It all fades. The circuit closes. The current flows. The idea becomes real.
Still, I wonder if genius must come with guilt.
That was not your doing. It was theirs. Misuse is the burden of all inventors.
Yes, service.
Then let us hope that future geniuses are also wise, that they understand power is not the goal, service is. May I ask you one more thing?
Of course.
Do you believe genius can be taught?
No, but it can be nurtured. It begins with wonder. then discipline, then patience. And if the soul is strong enough to survive rejection, betrayal, and obscurity, then it becomes genius.
A beautiful answer. I would only add one thing: imagination.
Ah, of course. As I said myself, imagination is more important than knowledge. Then may the future finally be listening.
And I would say the present is theirs. The future, for which I really worked, is mine.
Albert, tell me honestly, do you believe humanity will survive the inventions we've given it?
Please, we are already floating beyond space and time. I suspect we've earned some honesty.
Yes. They reach for the stars with hands still stained by war. I look around and see brilliance in the machines, but blindness in their makers.
That word genius, it is used far too carelessly today. But if I must answer honestly, I think it's not just intellect or knowledge, it's curiosity. Deep, unreasonable, childlike curiosity.
Because you knew what they would do with it.
Exactly. The hunger to know, not to impress, not to dominate, just to see what lies behind the curtain. I think that's what separates the clever from the wise. The clever man solves a problem. The wise man sees 100 more within it.
Do you know, Albert, I once imagined a world where energy was as free as air, where a man could power his home just by planting a copper rod into the ground and connecting to the Earth's field.
You are very good at that.
Exactly. That question, simple, economic, devastating, killed the dream. It was never about whether it worked, it was about who could profit from it.
What do you mean? That's remarkable. I worked through equations mostly, endless papers and chalkboards. I suppose your way was more internal.
Often. You brought the mathematics, the cosmological clarity. I brought the visions. We might have changed everything.
Perhaps, but you were also tuned in to a different signal. Like a radio ahead of its time. You heard what others couldn't.
You may be right. The world is rarely kind to men out of time.
I had the opposite problem. I would walk for hours thinking of light, not of machines or inventions, just light. What if I could ride it? What would I see? Would time stop? Would color disappear? Would mass become infinite?
Yes, and I would have completed my anti-gravity field studies. Not for flight, but for freeing humanity from geography. No more borders, no more distance, a new era of connection.
It's funny. People always imagine genius as something solitary. But even the brightest star is part of a galaxy.
I still do. Borders are not drawn by nature. They're imposed by fear. Remove the fear, scarcity, inequality, ignorance, and the lines fade. Then human nature must evolve. Not through machines, through education, through art, through spiritual science.
Would you?
Yes. We speak of energy and matter, but we ignore vibration, emotion, intuition. These are energies too, but modern science rejects what it cannot measure.
Then perhaps that is genius. Not just intellect or insight, but the willingness to walk alone, fueled only by belief.
Wise words. Perhaps one day science will grow a soul.
Yes, even among friends. Fame isolates in its own way. People stop hearing you. They only hear what they want from you. quotes, opinions, validation.
If we had more time, Albert, I would have told the world not just how to power their homes, but how to harmonize their hearts. Then perhaps we still can, even now, across time.
Absolutely. It's like touching the mind of God, however briefly, not in a religious sense, but in a universal one, as if the cosmos whispers, "Yes, you understood me, just for a second."
A modern aether, invisible waves carrying invisible thoughts.
And yet, Nikola, it's not just about discovery. It's about what we do with it. I discovered relativity, and it led to atomic bombs.
And you always disproved it.
Still, I wonder if genius must come with guilt.
I do. Not because they were right, but because they were afraid. And fear is not something to hate. It is something to heal.
Of course.
Don't wait for permission to imagine. Build what you see. They will doubt you. Let them. What matters is the resonance between you and your purpose. Thank you, Albert, for the dialogue I always hoped for but never had.
Then may the future finally be listening.